Are online auctions the way of the future? I'm going to share in today's video a recent client experience where we managed to win an online auction, which was a little bit different. It wasn't quite a Zoom or a Google Meet scenario where we had a live auctioneer. This was a true online auction where we made incremental bids online through an online platform. I know that was a bit of a mouthful, but welcome to my channel. My name's Luke. I talk about all things real estate, renovating, and financial freedom. And like I said, in today's video, we're going to break down a recent client purchase that we managed to make around 17 kilometers south of the Brisbane CBD. So before we talk about the auction scenario and whether online auctions are the way of the future, let's take a look at this deal and run over the numbers and get an understanding of why we like this property as a potential purchase. So this location was, like I said, around 17 or 18 kilometers south of the Brisbane CBD. The property had a land size of 615 square meters and it had 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom and 2 car spaces. Now, my client's brief was to focus on capital growth, and these clients had a wealth of knowledge themselves, being in the financial industry and working with investors on a day-to-day basis. So they knew exactly what they wanted. We sat down, had our buying brief and talked through their price limit, which was around the $700,000 or a little bit higher. And we also talked through what they were looking to achieve with this next purchase in Brisbane. They were focused on driving capital growth first and manufacturing value, and then having reasonable, positive or slightly neutral cash flow as a secondary option. So altogether, they were focused on growth and looking for neutral to slightly positive cash flow if possible. So within 24 hours of signing up, we actually managed to find a property that was going to auction and met their brief. Now, lots of buyers agents talk about off-market deals and on-market deals. This was an on-market deal being an online auction. And the real key point here was, did this property meet their buying criteria? Did it meet the overarching strategy of focusing on capital growth and manufacturing value and having reasonable cash flow as well? Was it within their purchase price limit and the suburb specific areas that we talked about? And did the property specifics also match up? So 3 bedrooms was a reasonable number of bedrooms for this area, 1 bathroom was okay, and there was plenty of value add potential in this property. So essentially what we did was sign up for the auction, and this was a little bit different. So it was held on a platform called Open Negotiation. Now, this still involves a selling agent. So Open Negotiation was managed by the real estate agents, the selling agents, and it's a transparent selling method where you essentially bid online for the property, and it starts around $10,000 increments. You need to be qualified as a buyer. So I registered for my clients as their buyer's agent, and you have to sign a few forms to register for the auction, just like any other normal auction. The great part about this online auction situation is you get to see exactly how many people have bid in the scenario, what prices they've bid, and it gives you a timeline of the bidding progress on that property. And it really gave us, for myself and my clients, a transparent situation where I was able to speak on the phone with them as the bidding process went through, and we had a 2-minute countdown clock, which allowed us to place bids on the online platform for the property. Now, the property actually met reserve in the high 500s, and my clients had set a budget in the high 600s to try and secure this property. In terms of the deal itself, looking through the property, it was tired on the outside and tired on the inside, but in terms of the bones of the property, it had great bones. It was a high set 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home on a good sized block of land, and we estimated between $25,000 to $50,000 of renovations would bring up the property to a high standard, and the after repair value for a similar property in this area would sell for around the mid 700s. So working backwards, we decided that we wouldn't be willing to pay over $700,000 for this property. And at the end of the day, this was my client's money and it's their financial decision to go ahead with the purchase. So I was guided by them in the auction scenario as to what point they wanted to stop bidding on the day. Now, before we run through the nitty-gritty of the numbers, let's take a look at a few of the photos. So you can see the exterior. Yes, it needs painting. Yes, it needs work, but that all comes with value add potential. So here's the back deck of the property. It needs some renovations. It's got some newer lattice, which is forming a balustrade around the property, and the deck could do with a painting as well. Again, it's got a shed in the backyard, a great size yard, some established trees in the back corner, and really a good sized lot in this area. Now, the big draw card for this property was the kitchen was in great condition relative to the rest of the property. So you can see this is a flat pack kitchen and it is blue, but all in all, from our physical inspections and from the photos you can see here online, the kitchen was in good condition. And this is a high price point. When you're spending money in a property, kitchens and bathrooms is where you're going to spend most of your cash. So to have a decent kitchen is a great thing to have and will allow you to spend money in other areas that might give you a greater return on your dollar, such as painting and flooring. So you can see here that, it needs a bit of rework, maybe a new ceiling fan, an air conditioner, and some new floors where the carpet is. Now, these green carpets could be turned into nice new dark navy or a dark gray, and white walls would really lift the standard of this property cosmetically. Again, the bathroom just needs to be finished off. The actual tiles were in good condition and the bathtub was in great condition. It's just the walls and the ceiling. It probably needs a vent as well to allow the room to have an exhaust fan in there when people are using the shower and to make sure that you don't get any moisture or mold growing in the bathroom. So all in all, this property just really needed paint, flooring, and a few touch-ups such as aircon, ceiling fans, and exhaust fans in the bathroom. And it was really going to transform this space for not too much money. Like I said, between that $25,000 to $50,000 budget. I love to finish off some ugly yellow carpets, which look like they've seen better days, and purple walls. So opportunity presents itself on this property, great bones and great value add potential doing a small cosmetic renovation. Now let's talk through the auction scenario. So Open had allowed other bidders to place bids prior to the final session. The selling agents told us that the property would go for its final session, which would be basically the last time you'll be able to make bids on the property at 5:30 on a Friday. We placed our bids and joined the auction around 5:20. I got on the phone to my clients and we made incremental bids against the other parties to try and win this property at this online auction. We know the property had met reserve through the online platform and we were aware that it was going to be sold at the end of that afternoon. Now, our strategy here for this online auction was a little bit different to a physical auction. When you're in a physical space, it's a lot easier to get a read of the room. You can see whether people are talking to their partner or a trusted advisor, or whether they're looking like they're going to tap out at a certain price point. Whereas on an online auction, it is truly transparent and you don't really get the opportunity to gauge what other people are doing in the auction scenario. So our strategy here was to incrementally make our bids and wait until the last moment to place the bids. We essentially wanted to draw out the auction process and try to minimize the bidding quickly in that auction scenario. One, to wear people out mentally and emotionally, and that's just part of our strategy. And two, to make sure that we were comfortable with my clients and that they were comfortable with the next decisions we were going to make in that auction scenario. So we started in the low 600s and bid at $5,000 increments consistently. Now, there weren't many parties bidding at this point, and we got our way through the mid 600s up towards the high 600,000s. At a point, it was just between us and another key bidder in that scenario, fighting for the property and trying to win it. Now, we knew that there was going to be a tap out point for them and also a tap out point for ourselves in terms of the maximum price we were willing to pay for the property. Now I know from conversations with my clients that they were willing to pay up to that high $600,000 mark, but not over that price point. So we just sat back in the auction scenario, and in this case, it had $5,000 increments that it started with, and it was on a 2-minute timer. So we continued to make $5,000 increments back and forth with the other competing bidder, all the way up to $680,000. Now, at this point, the other bidder passed on making another $5,000 bid, and we moved to $2,000 bid increments. Again, the timer counted down from the 2-minute clock, and we weren't going to bid against ourselves, so we sat back to wait and see if they would make a bid at $2,000 increments. Now, keep in mind, you can actually bid larger than the minimum increment. So the minimum increments started at $5,000, they then moved to $2,000, but you can bid higher in any situation if you want to. Finally, between ourselves and the other bidder, it moved to $1,000 increments, and the other bidder threw in an offer of $681,000. Now, our gut feel at this point was that this person was really tapping out at this price point, and throwing in a $1,000 bid was their last effort to try and win the property. So after discussing with my clients and getting their instructions to make a final bid at $682,000, we again returned the bid at $682,000, and we're successful in winning the property at auction. Now, this was a little bit different for us. We're very used to physical auctions, but Are online auctions going to change the landscape that we live in? I quite enjoy these online auctions. Sometimes we win them, sometimes we lose them. It's just the nature of an auction scenario. But they are transparent and open, and it's necessarily good. It's not necessarily great for the seller because we might have been willing to pay a little bit more for that property if we had to submit a best and final. It's great for the selling agents and it's great for it being transparent as a buyer, but I don't know if as a seller it's necessarily the best way to sell your home, but it's a really interesting concept to see almost to a game like property platform where it makes sounds and ring noises, and you'll see that as we show the footage of the online auction throughout this video. So you hear it make sounds and yippies and yahoos, and we obviously got a big congratulations, and it played a really cool sound. It almost felt like we were gambling, which is not a good thing, but it gamified the property purchasing process. So is this the way of the future, and online auctions like this going to change the way buyers and sellers operate in this market? Now, obviously I was a buyer's agent on the buying side and there was a selling agent still involved. So this online platform didn't really cut out commissions for both the buyers and the sellers, but it definitely made the process transparent. I don't really think this is going to catch on at a wide scale, but I can definitely see people using this as a set strategy and as an option to potentially reach a wide buyer pool. For example, someone could be in the UK and be an Australian citizen and looking to make a purchase in the Brisbane location, and they can use myself as their buyer's agent or register themselves for this auction and bid in the process in a different time zone in a different location. It really allows for borderless purchasing of property, and I know this is very common in the United States as well, these online platforms where you can sell property, and starting to become more of a thing here in Australia. I don't really see it taking over. I definitely still seeing on-the-ground auctions taking place, as well as those private treaties, which are the most common scenarios that we see. But it was a great experience all in all, and we got a fantastic result for our clients. They're currently looking to settle this property and to complete the renovations as we discussed, and rent out the property and potentially look at revaluing the property down the track to pull some equity out and go and make another property purchase or invest their money elsewhere. Now, I know we're in a hot property market, but Emily and I have some exciting news, so make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're going to reveal very soon our next property purchase. We're going to go through this situation of us buying the property, and we're also going to break down the numbers in a separate video. So make sure you subscribe, leave a like on this video, and click this video over here if you're wanting more videos on real estate, renovating, and financial freedom. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.